Edward B. Titchener. Edward Bradford Titchener, January 11, 1867 to August 3, 1927, was an English psychologist who studied under Wilhelm Wundt for several years. Titchener is best known for creating his version of psychology that described the structure of the mind, structuralism. After becoming a professor at Cornell University, he created the largest doctoral program at that time in the United States. His first graduate student, Margaret Floy Washburn, became the first woman to be granted a PhD in psychology, 1894. Titchener attended the Prebendal School and Malvern College and then went on to Oxford, Brasenose College, from 1885 to 1890. He graduated with a rare double first BA degree in classics in 1889. His interests began to change to biology. At Oxford, Titchener first began to read the works of Wilhelm Wundt. During his time at Oxford, Titchener translated the first volume of the third edition of Wundt's book Principles of Physiological Psychology from German into English. He spent an extra year at Oxford in 1890, working with John Scott Burton Sanderson, a physiologist, to learn scientific methodology. Titchener went on to Leipzig in Germany to study with Wundt in autumn 1890. He completed his doctoral program in 1892 with a dissertation on binocular vision. In summer 1892, he returned to Oxford and Burton Sanderson, where he taught in the Oxford Summer School. In autumn 1892, Titchener joined the Sage School of Philosophy at Cornell University as an untenured lecturer teaching philosophy and psychology. He developed a psychology laboratory, gained editing positions, and in 1895 gained tenure, a full professorship, and independence from the Sage School. He taught his views on the ideas of Wundt to his students in the form of structuralism. Titchener's ideas on how the mind worked were heavily influenced by Wundt's theory of voluntarism and his ideas of association and apperception, the passive and active combinations of elements of consciousness, respectively. Titchener attempted to classify the structures of the mind in the way a chemist breaks down chemicals into their component parts, water into hydrogen and oxygen, for example. Thus, for Titchener, just as hydrogen and oxygen were structures, so were sensations and thoughts. He conceived of hydrogen and oxygen as structures of a chemical compound and sensations and thoughts as structures of the mind. A sensation, according to Titchener, had four distinct properties: intensity, quality, duration, and extent. Each of these related to some corresponding quality of stimulus, although some stimuli were insufficient to provoke their relevant aspect of sensation. He further differentiated particular types of sensations. Auditory sensation, for example, he divided into tones and noises. Ideas and perceptions he considered to be formed from sensations. Ideational type was related to the type of sensation on which an idea was based, e.g., sound or vision, a spoken conversation, or words on a page. Titchener believed that if the basic components of the mind could be defined and categorized, that the structure of mental processes and higher thinking could be determined. What each element of the mind is, how those elements interact with each other, and why they interact in the ways that they do was the basis of reasoning that Titchener used in trying to find structure to the mind. Introspection. The main tool that Titchener used to try to determine the different components of consciousness was introspection. Unlike Wundt's method of introspection, Titchener had very strict guidelines for the reporting of an introspective analysis. The subject would be presented with an object, such as a pencil. The subject would then report the characteristics of that pencil, color, length, etc. The subject would be instructed not to report the name of the object, pencil, because that did not describe the raw data of what the subject was experiencing. Titchener referred to this as stimulus error. Edward B. Titchener formulated his 7 fundamental laws of attention. Law number 4, the law of prior entry, postulated that the object of attention comes to consciousness more quickly than the objects which we are not attending to. The law of prior entry has received a lot of interest over the last century, and much debate ensued about the veracity of this law. It is not until recently that research has generated robust evidence that attention operates at a perceptual level. Behavioral studies looking at the speed of perception of attended stimuli suggest that the law of prior entry holds true. Recent brain imaging studies have been able to confirm these findings by showing that attention can speed up perceptual brain activation. For further information, please see the additional video links in the description box. Let you watch the video and get more information. Thank you for watching, liking, subscribing, and commenting.